build a berthing facility. This will allow direct access for cruise ship passengers to our shores, therefore boost our local economy while safely increasing the capacity for Grand Cayman. One of the only remaining local cruise ship pilots, Captain Ed Lee Martin, recently told me that we can only accommodate a total of 8 ships in Georgetown Harbor. The proposed berthing facility can increase that number a further 50%. This would allow 4 more cruise ships to grace our shores and therefore help to bolster our strong tourism products. You see, the idea is that the cruise ship passengers would have easy access to and from the island. If we were to install the berthing facility, think of the multitude of safety issues, financial risks, and serious time wasted. Since 1984, there have been 16 major injuries involving passengers and tenders. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 person hurt is way too many. Let me ask you these questions. What is a berthing facility? And why do we need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars for cruise ships to come to the Cayman Islands? In preparing for this event, these questions were prominent in my mind. My uncle keeps his boat at a local marina in Grand Cayman. He does this to keep his boat safe and to ensure that it is easily accessed and ready to go in a whim. The marina is a mini berthing facility that enables many people to keep their boats in one area in a way that reduces the number of private docks installed along our shores and to reduce the carbon footprint required for people to launch their boats from their homes. A berthing facility is similar, but on a large scale. Currently, cruise ships come to the Cayman Islands, anchor off Georgetown, and risk injuring the coral reef within the harbor. These cruise ships must keep their ships running at full capacity while anchored offshore to ensure the stability of it within the harbor and to assist in the tendering process, which has a huge carbon footprint effect on the environment. These concerns increase the costs of the ship operators because they are running the boats and keeping them as if they were out at sea. Cruise ship passengers utilizing tenders run safety risks of injury and have delayed access to healthcare emergencies. If we in the Cayman Islands were to spend this money to build the berthing facility we are discussing here this afternoon, we will provide cruise ship companies with less expensive docking experiences, guaranteed visitation even in rough weather, and it would be safer and quicker disembarking for passengers. In addition, the proposed berthing facility will address some of the issues with our ship port, as it will increase the storage area for containers on site and eliminate the transportation of containers to and from an offshore holding facility. A proper facility will enable greater organizations of tourist excursions, reducing some of the congestion in Georgetown Harbor. The streamlining of tourists leaving the cruise ships through a purpose-built berthing facility will be organized. The transportation issues that will arise with numerous taxi and transport providers picking up cruisers for the island tours. Couple this benefit with the elimination of the containers to and from the port, and we will reduce some of the congestion and frustration in Georgetown. CaymanFutures.com predicts that with new jobs in place, $250 million and 1,000 new jobs will be introduced to Cayman's economy over the next 20 years. The last time I went to Disney World, I saw an estimated 90-minute wait. I went to the next ride and had a much shorter wait time. The cruise berthing facility port will only put the Cayman Islands at the forefront of the tourism market, securing our position at the top of a crowded market. Ladies and gentlemen, we could be the fast pass ride that everyone enjoys. Thank you.
What about our friends to the north, Walt Disney World, which turned a sleepy town named Orlando, Florida, into one of the world's largest tourist attractions? Let me bring things even closer home. A man named Dart had a vision called Cayman Bay, initially resisted by almost everyone, but Dart believed in it and fought for it. What we have today is still a work in progress, but what a progress! Cayman Bay is a city into itself, with all intents and purposes. A city that used to be marshland and swamp, but a vision was there. Remember that people without a vision will perish. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that the Cayman Islands has not had a birthing facility and maintained relative tourism success does not mean that is the way forward. In a recent interview with the Honorable Moses Cockerno, Minister of Tourism for the Cayman Islands government, he stated that if we don't build a birthing facility, then we have made the decision to remove ourselves from the tourism market. What this means is that over the next few years, our tourism numbers will peak and then begin a sharp decline as other destinations prepare for more passenger offloads. Yes, we presently enjoy a steady passenger volume growth of 1.6 million in 2014, but let us not rest too comfortable as we are the only country amongst our top competitors that do not have a berthing facility, and many of the large ocean liners do not even put us on their schedules. It is only a matter of time before others follow suit if we do not seize the opportunity for progress. Furthermore, over the past 5 to 10 years, our competitors have yielded growth in cruise tourism in double digits, whilst we are still struggling at single-digit growth, and fool ourselves that we are doing good. Yes, it is good that we try to preserve our coral reefs because they are what bring tourists into the islands. But tourist companies, they're making bigger, more advanced ships. These ships will have 2,000 and 6,000 passengers. How can we provide docking for these ships if we do not have a berthing facility? We can't take 6,000 people on the tender ships that carry the tourists back and forth. Therefore, we need a berthing facility in the Cayman Islands. So I think we should follow what our competitors are doing. For example, Cozumel had a 19% increase in passenger disembarkation. 5 years later, they took the bold step to build a berthing facility. This boosted a phenomenal 53%, and so today they have 3.4 million passengers. Grand Cayman, by that same token, had a negative 5%, and 10 years later are still trying to play catch up with a mere 6% increase. So we have a drop in the bucket in comparison to what the ocean can actually bring to us. Our plates see only 1.6 million, whilst our competitors have 2 million and are rapidly growing. Moreover, in light of absence of large docking facilities or a natural harbor, we are heavily reliant on a sole tender provider, the Caribbean Marine Service. One cannot overemphasize just how vulnerable and foolhardy this is. Even us, as kids, know that it is unwise to put all your eggs in one basket. The tendering of passengers to shore is not only high risk, but many of the passengers complain negatively about their experiences. And if we were to build a berthing facility, this would remove the tendering of passengers completely and allow passengers to have easy access to Cayman kind. If we were to build this berthing facility, at least it would only damage 15 acres of coral. That is 15 acres out of the 159 corals that my opponent has talked about. A majority of the Cayman Islands economy is based on the tourism industry, with a current daily disembarkation of at least 2,000 passengers and up to 4,000 passengers in high season. The cruising industry provides a first stays for many of the world's travelers. A berthing facility will provide travelers with short walk access to Cayman. The current proposal ensures that cruise passengers will have a high-class experience, equal or better than those of our competitors. The new berthing facility will allow for 4 cruise ships to dock at a time, reducing the environmental effects on our coral reefs, which include but are not limited to the anchoring of ships, the high rate of carbon released into the environment by the tendering ships that currently run passengers back and forth. It is the responsibility of the elected government to act in the best interest of the Cayman Islands. Caymanians recognize that tourism is important to our economy and that this berthing facility is a necessity if we are going to continue to compete in the tourism market. I'm not sure if the opposition understands how a combustion engine works, but as my father has taught me, more air and fuel in and more exhaust out equals greater increases in horsepower. If we apply the same principle to our tourism market, we can easily see the potential benefits to this pillar of our economy. As I stated earlier, cruise ship companies are expanding their ships, and we will need a berthing facility. And therefore, if we do not build this berthing facility soon, then we might as well just take ourselves away, as already large cruise ships do not even put us on their schedules, and others will follow if we do not take this opportunity and build a berthing facility in Georgetown Harbor. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be speaking to you regarding the topic. Be it resolved, we should ban PE and gym. But what about the kids who aren't academically gifted? This gives them a chance to fit in other areas. There are many positives to being physically gifted and academically gifted. But ladies and gentlemen, we are not aware, I'm not sure if my opponents are aware that you can get a scholarship for being good at physical education. And scholarships don't just help you in high school, they help you in the future, they help you in your job, they help on your resume. Ladies and gentlemen, health. Health is a major industry in today's world. We hear about it every day. We should watch our weight. We should run more. Ladies and gentlemen, PE is healthy. It gives kids a chance to run around and have a good time with their friends. It gives them a chance to lose weight. It gives them a chance to it gives them a chance to fit in. And even for those who don't fit in that area, they fit in many other areas. People always say don't judge a book by its cover. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are not judging a book by its cover. We are saying that people are fit in every different way. If people are bullying other kids, it isn't usually that kid's fault because someone else bullied them. I would like to say that it would be a lot more easier for people to get to connect if they were to do physical education. It would be easier for them to have a better friendship because they would be playing together. And even a little bit of competition is good for someone. No, it doesn't matter if it's physical education. But if we were to put physical education, which we are, in the place, we could say that kids have won many trophies for their schools off of running and track. Ladies and gentlemen, some of our fellow classmates come to Cayman for track. This is something that they enjoy and they would like to do. They weren't forced to do this. It is someone's decision what they want to and don't have to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that people are made in their own way, and they are all unique. Thank you.
Or an English class. That is why schools have PE classes for those students who can't add, who can't multiply, who can't divide. They're so thankful for PE classes because that is when they can get out of math and books, and that is when they can show their true potential. Now back to a statement that keeps coming up from my opponents is bullying. Bullying isn't dependent on whether you're good at PE or you're good at this or that. It's dependent on the people who are around you. For example, me in PE classes, I'm not good at PE. I'm gonna tell you that straightforward. But when I try to kick the ball and I miss by 100 miles, my friends don't bully me. They encourage me. They're always there. Bullying does not depend on whether you're good or bad at something, but it depends on the people who are around you. Because if those people are kind people, instead of bullying you, they will try to encourage you. Now, I want you to take a moment and look at me. I'm not the most physically inclined person. To be honest, I'm shaped like a potato. As my opponents have said, there are outside clubs that you can go and do physical education. But there are outside clubs that can help you with your homework. There are outside clubs that can help you expand in debate, for example, like today. There are outside clubs that can help you, math clubs, science clubs, all these clubs. So if they're stressing out about having to balance PE and academic work, then they can go to these clubs as well, just like how they have suggested for people who like PE. Ladies and gentlemen, PE does not need to be cancelled. And there are many reasons why. PE keeps us fit, PE builds up teamwork, and PE doesn't force you. Whether or not PE forces you to do the physical activities is based on the teacher. If you don't have an understanding teacher, then your teacher will force you. But if you have an understanding teacher, they will say, okay, I understand that you can't do this. Then you can sit down, try it next time. But if you have a teacher who's like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, then of course you're going to lower your self-esteem. I know in Cayman we have a fairly well PE teacher. He encourages us, but sometimes he can get on the bad side and try and force us. But he understands that some of us do not have the physical potential to do certain things. I think that instead of canceling PE, we should try and find more teachers like that. Instead of bullying the students who cannot excel in PE, we should try and encourage them. And if it comes to the point where we are suggesting to cancel PE, then instead of canceling it, there's a very more better alternative. That instead of canceling it, we should simply make it optional. That way, both people who don't like PE and people who love PE can get their ways. Thank you.